you know? And he still makes that. And of course, it's only until now that I'm trying to establish a sense of independence that he's, you know, completely deprived me of like any sort of like help with transitioning to being self-sufficient. And I think it's a form of tough love that's gone awry.
You mentioned like looking at your friends. It's important not to judge yourself.
Met some of my friends. I mean,
yeah. It's important not to judge yourself against other people. Because
right.
we all have different skill sets and we all have different upbringings that create different problems for each other. Like we were talking about the amphetamine thing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a choice. Okay. By the time I understood what I was doing to myself and the complications it made in my life, it was too late. Right? So no one can judge themselves against me because we have two different situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unhealthy to do that. You should judge yourself based on your own progress.
Right.
It's like
judge yourself against yourself.
When
against
you're
your own past.
running a race, you don't look over at an opponent.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm not saying other people are opponents, but you were running your own race.
Yeah. And I guess the thing that really got me was how divergent I was becoming as I aged. And as I started to struggle with personal problems and other things, you know, when you struggle with personal problems, you start attracting a different kind of energy. You know, you get a lot more people who come into your life spontaneously. They interact with you. They help based on, you know, whatever frequency you're dealing with. And personal problems don't last forever. You know, sometimes they fade away on their own. Sometimes they're solved. Other times they just sort of get, you know, they become like scars. And that's just the nature of experiencing life's battles, you know?
Yeah.
And they heal and they scar over, and then you have that
It's
memory
temporary.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, don't self-impose limitations based on, like, hurdles.
Right. But I really started to diverge paths with the people who I graduated high school with. And I felt and I still have friends from high school. But I felt that there was something gravely wrong with judging people based on, like, their social status. And unfortunately, I was raised in an environment where social status was incredibly, incredibly important. And I never knew why. Because as a geographer, I started to think about things from a geographer's perspective, like from an anthropological perspective. I started to look at things independent of whatever artificial
You remove yourself
construct.
from the bubble.
Right. I recognized the artificial construct of self-worth based on social status.
Relatively, we're at a party full of 1%ers who are fretting about the fact that we have less money than the other 1%ers at the party.
Exactly. And it was just like, it just seemed like a child's game. And so I took that information and I started to like go my own way with it. Now the other key piece of this financial manipulation and the financial abuse from my dad, because anything my dad ever did for me growing up always came with strings attached. You know, like for example, he would withhold affection if I didn't act or do certain tasks like in a certain way to his liking or his desire.
Oh my god, I had that too.
And I know some parents do that to a certain extent. Like parents want their kids to be maybe a certain way, but they don't literally, like non-abusive parents literally don't deprive them of affection.
Yeah.
If they want their kids to be successful, it's unconditional. You know?
Yeah.
But in my case it was never unconditional. And I didn't start to recognize that until I realized how much my parents would judge me based on decisions or actions that I would make. And if you're being judged, then that means you're not being loved conditionally.
Yeah.
And I came to that realization on a completely different, like, from all of my experiences. And all of this, you know, kind of jumbles together. And so, on the one hand...
Yeah, go.
So I'll go back to my original point. On the one hand, before I started getting a job at IHOP, I felt like I was above it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was too good to work as a server. I felt like I was too good to... Because I grew up... I'm an intelligent person. Like, I enjoy intellectual pursuits. You know, I enjoy things like academia and you know, and logic puzzles and exploring different, ideas and theories that would lend me a more, academic future, right?
I was looking up intelligent aphorisms yesterday.
There you go. I don't
Oh my
actually. What even
God.
is an aphorism? Like
It's that stuff I
a
was putting on
saying.
Facebook for a while.
yeah, kind of.
Like I did one about intelligence that said,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
I think I remember.
So I looked one up by Einstein, and he basically said intelligence is the ability to understand and change. Which
Yeah.
it was. There was one that was more appropriate, but I can't remember it. But go on.
So there was that side of me, and the other half of me was the part the more, I guess, the less mature side of me that I was dealing with, feeling like I was undeserving of any job at all.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, I felt like I was above it all and that I deserved, way better, like entry level pay, 40,000, like, I could do that in my fucking sleep, like whatever.
Yeah.
And the other side of me was feeling like I didn't even think that I deserved to get paid for doing any work at all.
Mm.
And so the work that I had pursued prior to getting my job at IHOP, every job that I pursued was either a guaranteed job, it was either unpaid, it was something where I couldn't be rejected, I didn't have to face competition from my peers, I didn't have to face rejection, and so I was dealing with all of those dynamics, and I went broke trying to mold the two pendulums, the swinging pendulum together. And I'm now on a path, and we talked about this, I think, in the episode that you accidentally deleted. But I'm now on a path where I'm improving myself incrementally, in a way that's tangible, and I'm earning money for myself to create like the life that I know that I need to live the life that I want, And I'm doing that like concretely now. Like,
And it helps you determine what you actually need and what you don't.
yeah.
And we're talking about, like, I'm stingy. But that's because, like, I follow that so what mentality, down to the root. And what you find on this path is that we don't actually need most of the stuff that we have.
Right.
Even to attain happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, comfort. Like, we just need to meet our, basic survival needs.
And I
then,
used to know that, I feel like I used to know that at one point.
yeah.
Like when we're younger, I feel like we entertained those ideas more strongly.
Well, I used to preach it to you, actually.
Thanks, Alan.
I'd be like, you'd be like, why didn't you get this kind? And I'm like, it's like $1 more. And you're like, yeah, but it's
More.
that's nice brand. I don't know.
Well, and I still value things like,
Great value?
Great value. I still value great value. No, I still value things like brand products. I'm not going to throw away all of the, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not okay to live a life that is materialistic. It's okay to be materialistic to a certain extent.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, like, materialism helps us live.
Just don't let it run your life.
Right. Yeah.
You need to have an identity outside of that is
Right.
not flexible based on materialism.
Mm-hmm. And I think people forget that. Like, my family is blinded by materialism. And
You start with yourself, right?
Yeah.
You are the center of your universe.
Mm-hmm.
Materials are, like, you don't hold them in the center, right? God damn it.
What are you
This is a terrible analogy.
No, keep going. I know what you're saying.
It's like when you build upon yourself, the things you have, the things you are, the things you own.
Mm-hmm.
You, your thoughts, your ideas, your values, that's all at the center. And your relationships right after that. And the things you own after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your materials should not be at the center of yourself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the shittiest analogy.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, a lot of people.
You like the Buddha?
I do. I was looking at him.
She's waving.
Is it a she?
I don't know.
Buddha's a guy,
It's
right?
flat chested.
Could be man boobs.
I mean, there's none. There's none there.
It makes you wonder.
Not really.
I mean, I wonder.
Anyway, you're saying.
But I guess the funniest thing is like I don't have any clue like
Let's
what
talk
the
about
fuck-
judgment.
Okay, but wait, let me finish my thought first. I don't have any idea like where I'm going to be taken over the next like fiscal year, like let alone like the next year or two. Like I know what my medium term and my long term plans are in terms of like which careers and whatever I want to pursue. But I am dealing with, I mean, part of the reason why I'm still in Kansas City, because I would have left a long time ago. Like part of the reason why I'm still here and you know, struggling with a lot of like personal issues is because I'm dealing with some very like elementary, basic psychological, I guess, distractions from my childhood, from my inheritance, from my genetic DNA, like however you want to see it. And I am trying to expel that out of me to a degree that allows me to liberate myself.
And I told you this before,
And I don't know
but
how
I'm going to tell you again, dude. I'm so proud of you. Like, because
Thanks for saying that.
you put it into action, right? You have the intelligence to do whatever you want,
Yeah.
right? But you took the steps, you took a leap you took a scary change in your life, and I'm proud of you for being able to do that, because you know what? I know there's not, like, a lot of people dropped off for you.
Oh my God, so many people.
Like, it is very lonely.
Yeah. It was
And
for the longest time.
there was a point in my life, like, I know what you're going through and about to go through. There's a point in my life where I was my only real friend, right? Or I maybe had one or two. Because of where I was, people looked at me and didn't want to be associated with me anymore. So as I came up, through the ranks, now I'm getting millions. No. But like, as I progressed in life, you know, it got to a point where people were naturally drawn to me. But
Yeah.
I didn't immediately like give in and latch onto that, to their validation, because I didn't need it.
Because you were stronger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was useful as a tool for guidance, or, you know, as a tool for bonding, you know.
And that's something that you're going to experience too, because you're going to be bulletproof, dude.
Dude, I hope so. I fucking hope so.
I'm going to change this over. That's 45 minutes.